All right, Algebra 2. Today we're going to be looking at dividing polynomials. We've done adding, subtracting, and multiplying, and so now we're going to look at dividing. And so there's two kinds of division techniques that we're going to be learning in Unit 3. The first one is long division, and the second one is called synthetic division. So long division is similar to when you did long division in elementary school. So we're going to look at this problem and just it's the concept that we want to understand. What are the steps in long division from elementary school, which is numbers, and then how can we apply that and use those same steps in polynomials. So when we have a number 1,573 and we're dividing it by 13, the 1573 goes on the inside, okay, and the 13 goes on the outside. Just to review on that. So when we divide, we're looking at 13 and seeing how many times it goes into 1, and it doesn't go into 1 at all. And so then we go to how many times does 13 go into 15? Well, it goes in 1 time. Okay, so we put a 1 up on top. And then really what we're doing is we're multiplying that 1 times 13, and we carry that under the 15. Then we would draw a line. It's important that we remember this. We draw a line, and then we subtract. Okay, we're subtracting. So then when we subtract, 5 minus 3 is 2, and then 1 minus 1 is 0. So then the next step we would do is bring down the 7. And so now we're looking at 13 can go into 27 how many times? Well, it goes into it 2 times, so we put the 2 on top. And now that 2 gets multiplied to 13, that's 26, and that gets carried underneath. And then we draw a line, and then we subtract again. So 7 minus 6 is 1, and the 2's cancel out. And then the next step would be to bring the 3 down. All right, and then we're looking at 13 goes into 13 how many times? Well, it goes into it 1 time. And then we multiply 1 times 13. It's 13. Draw a line, subtract, and we get 0. And because it's 0, that's our remainder. Okay, so we have a remainder of 0. And so that means that 1,573 divided by 13 is equal to 121 with no remainder. All right, so now we can use those same steps with polynomials. So we'll do the x minus 2 on the outside, and then the x squared plus 3x minus 10 on the inside. All right, now we want to look at our polynomials, both the outside one and the inside one, and it says make sure that each term is represented. So if there's a skip in exponents, then you want to put in a 0x to whatever exponent you're missing, all right, as a placeholder. Okay, so on the outside we have an x, that's x to the first, and then the constant term, so there's nothing missing. And then on the inside, x squared, x to the first, constant term, so nothing's missing. So now what we do is we take the x on the outside and the x squared on the inside, and you're asking yourself, what do you have to multiply the x on the outside by to get the x squared on the inside? So x times what is x squared? Well, it's x. All right, so now we take the x and multiply or distribute. Okay, so we're distributing the x to both the x and the negative 2, and we're going to carry that underneath. So that becomes x squared minus 2x. All right, so hopefully you see what I just did. I just took the x on top and distributed it over to x minus 2 and carried that underneath. Now when you carry it underneath, you want to make sure that you line up the correct exponents underneath their respective exponents. All right, so the x squares are underneath the x squares, the x to the first are under the x to the first. All right, so then just like with regular division, we would draw our line underneath and we would subtract. Okay, but when we subtract, really what's happening is we're subtracting this whole binomial, and so we're going to distribute that negative in. So if we distribute the negative in, it's the same as subtracting. Okay, all the signs will change their opposites. So that x squared, so I'm just going to get rid of this right now in the parentheses. I just did it just so you could see what I was doing. that becomes an negative x squared, and the minus 2x now becomes a plus 2x. And that's because I distributed the negative in. So now what you're going to do is add down. Okay, so you're not going to subtract. We already showed that we were subtracting by distributing the negative, and now you add down. So when you add down, 3x plus 2x is 5x, and x squared minus x squared is 0. So those first terms should always cancel out. Now we're going to bring down the next term, which is minus 10. And then the process just repeats. So we take the x on the outside and the 5x underneath, and ask yourself, what do you have to multiply x by to get 5x? All right, so x times what is 5x? Well, x times 5. X times 5 is 5x. So 5 goes on top. So now we'll take the 5 this time and distribute to the x and the negative 2. So 5 times x is 5x. So carry it down here. And then 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Okay, and then we'll draw a line. And then we're going to subtract. So when you subtract, just think of always, once you draw your line underneath, the next step should always be change your signs to their opposites. Change the signs to their opposites. So the 5x becomes a negative 5x, and the minus 10 becomes a plus 10. All right, so I just distributed that negative in, and now I'm going to add down. So the 5x's cancel out, and then negative 10 plus 10, that's 0, that cancels out. And that's my remainder, 0. So the answer is what's on top. All right, so the answer is x plus 5, and no remainder. All right, so I know there's a lot of steps involved here, and so you have to actually, watch what I'm doing, watch each step, so you can memorize the steps that are involved. Okay, and then you have to actually practice. You can't just watch me do it and then that's it. You have to actually get in there and try to do it yourself. All right, so we're going to take that x plus 3 and then x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, so we're not missing any exponents, okay? Everything is represented. And so, again, we started with the x on the outside and the x squared on the inside. And ask yourself, x times what is going to give me x squared? Well, it's x. So I'm going to take the x on top and distribute. Always distribute. So that becomes x squared plus 3x. Okay, so remember we draw the line underneath, change both signs to their opposites. So it becomes a negative x squared and a negative 3x. And make sure you do that negative dark so you can see it. And now we're going to add down. X squared minus x squared is 0. Okay, they cancel out. 6x plus negative 3x. Okay, remember adding down, so that's 3x. 6x plus negative 3x is 3x. Now we'll add the 9 down, bring the 9 down. Okay, now the process starts all over again. So x times what is 3x? Well, it's 3. So we put plus 3 on top. The 3 gets distributed again, so that's 3x. And then 3 times 3 is 9. We'll draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Okay, you're only changing the signs on the bottom, but make sure you do both of them. Add down, that's 0, and 9 plus negative 9 is also 0. So we don't have a remainder, so the answer, x plus 3. All right, so let's keep going. Number 4. So here we have x to the third minus 27 divided by x minus 3. So the x minus 3 will go on the outside. Now, we're starting with an x to the third, and we're going all the way down to the constant term, so that means that we're missing some exponents. So we're missing an x squared and an x. So we're going to put in two placeholders, 0x squared and 0x, and then the minus 27. All right, so it's really a good idea, good practice, if you're skipping exponents, to put in a 0x to whatever exponent you're missing. All right, so now let's go ahead and do this. So the x on the outside and the x cubed on the inside. So x times what is x to the third? Well, it's x squared. All right, so we'll take the x squared, distribute. So that's x cubed minus 3x squared. So we want to line up our exponents. Minus 3x squared goes underneath the 0x squared. Okay, we'll draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. That's 0. 0x squared plus 3x squared is 3x squared. Okay, we'll bring down the 0x. And if you want, you can just always bring everything down. You just keep bringing everything down. Okay, so you can do that. All right, so now I'm going to look at the x on the outside and the 3x. And so x times what is 3x squared? So it's going to be 3x. So I can put a plus 3x. Now you take the 3x and distribute that over. So the x squared minus 9x. We'll draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. So the first terms cancel out. They always have to cancel out. Okay. So now when we add 0x plus 9x, that's 9x. Bring down to minus 27. All right, and it looks like we have one more time. So x times what is 9x? It's going to be plus 9. So I'll take the 9 and distribute. Okay. See, I keep drawing those arrows over to remind myself to distribute. So 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. Draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. That's 0. And that's 0 also. All right, so my answer, let's leave it up here. It's on the top, x squared plus 3x plus 9. So you can see on top, the exponents decrease in order also. So that should always happen. All right, so number 5. So here we're going to take 2x squared minus 3. And you know what? I can see that we're missing exponents on the bottom, so I'm going to put in a placeholder. So 2x squared plus 0x minus 3. That's all being divided into 2x to the 4th plus 14x to the 3rd plus x squared minus 21x minus 6. All right, so let's see how this works out. Okay, so don't take it all at one time. You're just taking it in pieces. So you're taking the first term, 2x squared, and the 2x to the 4th. That's what you're looking at. All right, so 2x squared times what is 2x to the 4th? Well, it's x squared. I'm just going to put it right there. I'm going to take that x squared now and distribute over to all three terms. So x squared times 2x squared is 2x to the 4th. I'm going to line up my exponents. X squared times 0x is 0, x to the 3rd, 0, x to the 3rd. X squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. Alright, so just distribute it over. Now I'm going to draw my line. Change all the signs to their opposites on the bottom. So it becomes a minus, and a plus. Now I'm going to add down. So those first terms should cancel out. Alright, so 14x to the 3rd minus 0x to the 3rd is still 14x to the 3rd. X squared plus 3x squared is 4x squared. Right? Now I'm just going to bring all this down so I don't forget. I'll just bring it all down. Alright, so now I'm going to repeat the process. Okay, so I'm looking at 2x squared and 14x to the 3rd now. So 2x squared times what is 14x to the 3rd? So it's going to be plus 7x. 7x. I'm going to take 7x and distribute all three times. So 7x times 2x squared is 14x to the 3rd. 7x times 0x is 0x. So plus 0x. 7x times negative 3 is negative 21x. Alright, so I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to change all the signs to their opposites. I'm going to add down. Alright, so that cancels out. 4x squared minus, let's see, we got 0x. I've put a square on it. 0x squared. Alright, so 4x squared minus 0x squared is 4x squared. Negative 21x plus 21x, that's 0, so that cancels out. Okay, so I'm going to just bring it down as a placeholder though, and then the minus 6 will come down. Alright, so I have 2x squared and 4x squared. So 2x squared times what is 4x squared? So that's going to be plus 2. So again, you can see the numbers at the, or the terms at the top, they're decreasing in order. And so you can't have any exponents that come later that are higher than ones before it. And so I already was at a 7x. And so the only term that could come next is a constant term. Right. So 2 gets distributed. 2 gets distributed over. So 2 times 2x squared is 4x squared. 2 times 0x is 0x. And 2 times negative 3 is minus 6. Right, so I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to change all the signs to their opposites. I'm going to add down. So 4x squared and negative 4x squared is 0. 0x minus 0x, that's 0. And negative 6 plus 6, that's 0. All right, so there's my remainder 0. And so my answer is here up at the top. X squared plus 7x plus 2. All right, so now let's see how we do a problem where there will be a remainder left over. Okay, so let's go ahead and do number 6. Not everything goes in evenly. So here we have x squared plus 3x plus 5. All right, so let's go ahead and start it out the same way. So x on the outside, x squared on the inside. So x times what is x squared? So it's x. Take the x and distribute it over to both. X squared plus 2x. Draw my line. Don't forget to change both signs to their opposites. Add down. First terms cancel. 3x minus 2x is 1x. Bring down that plus 5. Right, and then we'll do this again. So x times what is x? So that's plus 1. Okay. So 1 gets distributed. So 1 times x is x. 1 times 2 is positive 2. Draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. So 5 plus negative 2 is positive 3. Right? And we're done. This is my remainder right here. So the way that we're going to write our answer is we take the top number, okay, which was x plus 1, and then we're going to add on the remainder, and the remainder is that 3, and then the denominator is what we were dividing by. Okay, so the denominator goes on the bottom as a fraction. All right, so x plus 1 plus 3 over x plus 2. So it's kind of like if we were dividing, I'm going to do this real quick, 5 divided by 2. Okay, 2 goes into 5 2 times with the remainder 1. So this is 2 plus a half, or 2 and a half. Okay, so 2 and a half is the same as 2 plus a half. So when we have polynomials, we add on the remainder part as a fraction. All right, so number 7, x plus 3. And we're not missing any exponents. All right, so x and x to the third are what we're looking at. So x times what is x to the third? So it's x squared. Take the x squared and distribute. So that's x to the third plus 3x squared. Draw a line underneath. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. Negative x squared plus negative 3x squared is negative 4x squared. I'm going to bring all this down. You can do it one at a time. Alright, so then I'm looking at the negative 4x squared. So x times what is negative 4x squared? So that's going to be minus 4x. Distribute negative 4x. Negative 4x squared minus 12x. We'll draw our line, change both signs to their opposites. We'll add down. 4x squares cancel. 3x plus 12x is 15x. Bring down that minus 1. We'll do this one more time. So x times what is 15x? It's going to be plus 15. Okay, we'll take 15 and distribute. So that's 15x plus, and then 15 times 3 is 45. Alright, we'll draw the line, change both signs to their opposites, add down. Negative 1 plus negative 45 is negative 46. Right, so this is our remainder part. So our answer is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 15 plus negative 46 over x plus 3. Now that plus negative 46, you could also just write minus and then positive 46 over x plus 3. But that denominator is coming from that x plus 3 we were dividing by. All right, so this is our final answer. All right, and then last one, number 8. X minus 1, 3x to the third, plus 2x squared, minus x plus 3. All right, so looking at the x and 3x to the third. So x times what is 3x to the third? So it's going to be 3x squared. We'll distribute that 3x squared over. So 3x squared times x is 3x to the third. And 3x squared times negative 1 is negative 3x squared. Draw a line, change both signs to their opposites, add down. 2x squared plus 3x squared is 5x squared. Just bring all this down, minus x and plus 3. Alright, so then x times what is 5x squared? So it's going to be plus 5x. So 5x has to get distributed. So 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times negative 1 is negative 5x. Draw a line, change both signs to their opposites, add down. Negative x plus 5x is 4x. Drop down to plus 3. And we'll do this one more time. X times what is 4x? It's going to be plus 4. Take the 4 and distribute. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Draw a line. Change both signs to their opposites. Add down. 3 plus 4 is 7. And so we're done. Now we just have to write our answer. 3x squared plus 5x plus 4 plus 7 over x minus 1. Okay, and that is polynomial long division. So you can see there's lots of steps. You got to be careful that at each step that you do each step correctly, because you won't be able to find your mistake if you think you even made a mistake in there. It's either you're going to get it all right, or you're going to get, you're going to get everything wrong from where you made the mistake after it, because everything uses the previous step to make sure that it's correct. All right. So go ahead and start on the work, long division. I put the answers at the bottom of the homework page just so you can check and make sure that you're getting each one of these steps. If you start off correctly and then you see the next step is wrong, then that means you made a mistake at that step. So stop and fix it. All right.